actually remember having a conversation with the careers advisor at school, and she told me to go into health and beauty, and I went, no, there's no money in that. Why would I do that? I would say this is all the stuff that you can do. This one you probably go to jail, this one you definitely won't, and this one probably won't save you much tax. Up to you which one you want.
Saying, look, I don't want to pay tax and just help me save the money where I can, even if that means that we have to create an expense. You do that, right? Welcome back to my channel where we discuss personal development, business and everything else that's connected. If this is the first time you are visiting my channel, then please hit the like and subscribe button. Just to let you know, we are now releasing videos every Wednesday 11 AM and every Sunday 3 PM. Make sure to tune in as you don't want to miss them. So the property tax queen.
Yes.
Why do they call you the property tax queen?
Because I decided to call it myself about 3 years ago.
Why? I thought that name came from somewhere. I thought I'm going to ask her that.
Why? Because I started a business.
Yeah.
Had no niche.
You?
Yeah, me. I started a business myself, pregnant, in a job, thinking I need extra money when I'm on maternity leave, so what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I set up my own business. Started out as like a bog standard, boring ass accountant. And then I just thought, I've got to be different.
Why boring ass accountant?
Because most of them are. Oh, no, that's the issue. So I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to be myself, but I always felt like, because I've been in corporate, I've worked for like massive firms and things like that. There's this kind of persona. But I just thought, nah, that's not me. Do you know what? I'll just be myself. I've read all these books on marketing, and I thought they're all saying niche, so just niche. And I chose property because I thought, oh, I know, I'll pick something that's hard. Because if it's hard, there's going to be money in it and it'll be valuable. And that's where it started.
Wow. So when you say you picked property meaning like as in an accountant for property investors?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Let's even tap into that while we're here at this subject. Is there accountants for they specialise in different things?
Yeah, so say for example you go on Google.
Yeah.
And you were like an Amazon seller. I don't know, you might put in accountant for eBay seller or accountant for Amazon seller.
Yeah.
There'll be firms of accountants that niche into that. But then there'll be broader firms of accountants that basically point their marketing towards those specialisms. So they are out there, but actually what happens is the bigger you get, the more likely is that you're going to come out of the niche at some point.
Right.
Which eventually I will do. But at this growth stage, it's all about build, get as much organic growth as possible, maybe buy another few firms, then look at another specialism. But right now, still focus on property.
Let's just say if somebody came to you who's got a massive YouTube channel, he's in the social media game, and said, Amy, listen, I want you to do my paperwork for me for my, the accountancy, whatever it is. Would you almost say, look, I don't really specialise in that, or would you say, I'll take you on?
To be honest with you, if they've got a massive YouTube channel,
yeah, that was just like an example.
Let's say like somebody successful, they're probably in property of some sort already, or if they're not, they probably should be at some point.
That's a good way.
Yeah, because where are you going to put your money? There's only so many Chanel bags you can buy. So for me, it's like I would have that conversation of, well, where are you trying to get to? Like, you're making all this money, but what are you doing with it? How are you going to keep the wealth? And then start going down that road. Sometimes that naturally goes into, okay, I want to buy some properties, and then I can work with them that way. If they're just like not property orientated at all, then I probably would turn them away at this point in time, just because why would I want to go and learn loads of other tax rules around a completely different niche when I could be servicing clients within the niche that I'm already in and I'm already an expert in?
Makes sense. That's interesting.
For now, I'd do that. In the future, when I've got more IP around me, more people, maybe somebody else that works for me could do that bit.
It totally makes sense. So how long have you been banging at this for?
Banging at this?
Yeah, like how long have you been doing it?
It's about 3 years now, but actually only 2 years into that, 1 year into that, I niched down. So full-time branding, everything, 100% property, 2 years.
Right.
Prior to that, I was just like, in my opinion, wasting time, procrastinating. I'll just be a bookkeeper. I'll just do this on the side. I'll keep my employment. Just messing about for the first year, like kind of like finding my feet. It's only until like June 21, I think it was. That was when I relaunched on Instagram as Property Tax Queen, and just
great name, by the way.
Been that ever since. Thank you.
And surely there would, like you said, is marketing genius, some mindset stuff, definitely some strategy behind that name, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like everyone should be the same.
Yeah.
You should have a marketing strategy, because you could be the best tax advisor, best accountant in the world, but what is the point if no one's going to see it?
Yeah. You said corporate. So 3 years ago, you've been in the accountancy game, yeah? What were you doing before that? You said you were in the corporate. Doing what? Banking, is it, or just?
No. So unfortunately for me, I've always been an accountant. I left school. I was 15 when I left because I'm born in August, and I did an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So I worked for like some of the bigger firms as an apprentice, doing accountancy, basically making cups of tea. And then moved. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. And then I moved into industry. So I worked for really big brands like Rolls-Royce, Jaguar Land Rover, so some big corporate names, and did like management level roles there. Quite high up, good day rates, all the rest of it, but the money and the hours, and then my life changed with the kids and stuff, and I just thought, no. And actually, the more that I educated myself with books, this, that and the other, the more I was just like, I can work my ass off and get promotions, but there's a ceiling to this, and I've got no control over what I want, and I hated asking for a day off. Like, now, obviously, it's up to me. I've got to arrange things, and that has its own issues, but it's the freedom as well that comes with this now. It's like the fact that I can come here today. It's my choice. I haven't got to ask for approval or, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's interesting, that, because so you started like when you was, like you said, 15, 16, just built yourself up, right? So I know so many people, and including myself, like I started off doing one thing and then another and then another, and then you think, I don't really fancy that. And then eventually you figure out what your passions are, and you think, well, this is the road I want to go down. And for me, it was like at 31, 32, I figured that out. So for you, were you so like adamant that this was the path, or did you question yourself as well at certain points in your life and then thought, no, this is definitely my route?
What, as being an accountant? Yeah, I think it was just the education system that pushed me down that route. But I do actually remember having a conversation with the careers advisor at school. And she told me to go into health and beauty, and I went, no, there's no money in that. Why would I do that? Like, I want someone else to do my nails. So I've always been like very business minded. So I loved business studies. I got an A in that. Maths obviously was all right. No one needs to worry. So I did well. I was like always quite good at school in terms of getting the work done, got good exam results. I kind of knew that I needed a good job. That was just drilled into me as a kid. Get a good job, that'll pay for whatever you want. Like my mum and dad still work. No one in my family is a business owner. It's
really,
literally
you're the
just
first
me.
one?
Yeah. Everyone else has got manual labour jobs or, like really working class background, grew up on a council estate, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say accountant, no. I feel like I've found myself now as a business owner. Interesting. Like that's where I feel like, I was meant to do this because I like leading, I like driving things forward. Being an accountant, would I rather be an accountant or a business owner? I'd rather be the business owner. Yeah. Definitely. Let's talk about your current business. So you've got business. Have you got staff? Have you got, is it yourself at the moment? Like, how big are you at this stage? Where are you looking to go? Just tell me a little bit about your business. Pay attention. I've got some exciting news for you guys. I've launched a 7-day total free audio course for you guys, which is going to help you improve and elevate your mindset, and it's also going to help you in your business. All you have to do is go and sign up every single day
day, day 1 to day 7, you will receive a free 2-minute audio from me in my own words, in my voice, and what that will do is help you in your business and your mindset. Make sure you go and sign up and let me know how you find it.
Yeah, so at the moment there's myself, I've got a couple of supporting staff as well. We work with some external consultants as well.
Yeah.
But where I want to take it in the next couple of years is to essentially have, not remove myself completely from the business, but have like a mini management team in there. So there's a few things that I'm still doing, like I'm doing all of the sales calls, even like the second part ones that I'm doing. That's still quite a bit of work, quoting clients, you know, for tax planning jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that that needs to come off my shoulders, and I need to be fully focused on growth. So more marketing, more public speaking, more podcasts, more like PR stuff, just to really get it to the next stage. Possibly taking on a couple of like graduates, apprentices, and mainly because that's how I learned. Like I went through that. So I want to give somebody else that opportunity. There's kind of two ways to do it in the accountancy space. You either hire someone who's already qualified, but then that's quite hard depending on where you're at, because there's a real issue in accountancy at the moment where you can't get staff. So you've got to pay like really, really high rates, and then obviously depending on how you price things and the jobs and capabilities, that's going to affect margin and how you run the business. So it's a hybrid of the two, but for me, I want to also look at acquiring other practices to get to like my goals and what I want to do. So not this year, but most likely next year, I'm going to start looking into that, because then you're buying the cash flow, you're buying the IP, it's quicker.
The database, everything, right?
Yeah. The only issue with that for me at the moment is that I don't know like a property tax firm or a firm of accountants that just niched into property.
Right.
So it's how do you deal with that bit? So there's a lot of thinking that needs to go into it, but essentially the focus for the future is max out organic growth as much as possible and start buying businesses.
Yeah. So currently, what's your strategy at this stage? Like, if you want, as you're growing your own firm, what are you doing at the minute? Like, comes tomorrow morning, like, how does your leads come in?
Oh, social media, 100%. And that was intentional from day one. So what happened is, obviously I started this 2 years ago in terms of the content. Now it's like a massive snowball effect.
Yeah.
Because I've got the clients, I'll get referrals from those guys, you know, different platforms on social media. I really need to sort out YouTube, because I feel like I keep trying it, and it is so much graft that I find it difficult.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like all right with shorts and things like that, and I've kind of scheduled those now. They're all going out. I've had some leads from YouTube. That's good. Randomly, people are finding me on Google, and that's because I used to have the domain propertytaxqueen.com, and because it's got property tax in there, I'll get SEO straight in. But
interesting. Why are you finding YouTube difficult? Tell me.
Because I feel like I've got to do long form. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to sit there for half an hour talking about tax. I don't, because I don't think people want to hear it for that long. So maybe that's a mindset thing. And I'm like, well, I could grow on YouTube through shorts. I could just do 30-second videos that go, this is how you can reduce stamp duty, this is how you can do this. But then, I don't know. There needs to be a proper strategy behind it.
There needs to be a strategy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe Q&A, right?
Yeah.
Ask your audience to send in Q&As, and then get them Q&As and do them on YouTube.
Yeah, or going live. I need to do that.
Yeah.
And on Instagram.
But again, it's like as a business owner, right? Especially when you're in the start of you're grinding, you're making sure you're taking calls, you're doing this. It's like you can't do everything in it.
Yeah, and I've got 2 kids, so for me, it's like I've got a cut-off time.
Yeah.
Because after I've took Minnie out of school club now, so I can do school runs. Obviously today it's fine, but most days from let's say 4 o'clock until 7:30, 8.
Yeah.
I'm not available because I'm being a mum. Like I've got to do all this stuff, so you know.
And that's a job as well, right?
Yeah, more than full time. Don't get paid for it either. But Yeah.
No, but this is the reality though, isn't it?
It is reality. Like, you know, people might laugh or think, I do get up that early to get stuff done, because if I don't, what's the alternative? They're going to be around me, distracting me. I won't be able to get it done. So my day is different. I like to get up at 5 or 5:30, get a head start, go to the gym. I'm back at the gym now and I'm feeling better than ever. I did go through a stage where I just didn't go.
Yeah.
But that made me feel like shit, to be honest with you. So I'm back there now. I've got a routine with that. I'm eating better. Like, I'm doing all the stuff that I used to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's just getting into a new routine.
So how does your day look like then? You get up, do you say 5:30, you get up around that time?
Yeah, so like today I got up at 5:30, but usually like 5. Then I'll go downstairs, make a coffee. Whilst I'm doing that, I will either read for a little bit.
Oh, is that what you do, yeah?
Yeah, like I'll just try and get through whatever book I'm reading.
What are you reading at the moment?
Is it 7, the Success Habits thing?
7.
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
7 Habits of Successful People. Or
yeah,
something.
I know which it's right there, but I can't remember the name. Yeah.
So.
What do you want? Read like a page, right?
Well, I'll just set my timer. I'm like, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Read what I can. What I'm trying to do as well is like, I'm like mad into research. When I do something, I have to do it 100%. So I was thinking, I'll read this stuff and I'll never remember it. So
what, in a book?
Yeah, like I'll read it like, oh shit, I don't know what it said. So I'll get my iPad out. I've got the Notion app, and I'll just put in there like, like the points, so I can go back to it. So I like kind of make my own Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You know, that helps. I'll either do that in the morning, or sometimes I'll start a home workout, and then I'll go for a walk when my other half gets back, because he goes like at 5 to the gym. So we just rotate it. But every morning I'm either doing some form of exercise, so it's either weights at the gym or I'm going for a walk to clear my head. Then I come back, shower, breakfast, start getting the kids ready, then do the school run, then start my working day.
But at like around 8:30, 9?
9, yeah.
Yeah. So
and then that's like meetings and all that kind of stuff.
What is the time of the day where you're most creative?
Creative in the morning.
Really? I'm at night.
Really? I'm morning.
Really?
Yeah, and I figured that out, and I thought I need to play into this, because before I was like, I've always worked 9 to 5. I've got to work 9 to 5. No, like things are different now. So if I want to get up at 5 and I'll start thinking about stuff like, I could this, write it down now, Amy, and, you know, or do some of that now.
Yeah.
I try and do the hard stuff in the morning as well. So if I find like I've got a big project on and I'm trying to get through it, I'll try and just crack through that first in the day.
Yeah.
And then leave the other stuff till like the afternoon when I'm half asleep.
How are you like when you're working? Do you get distracted by social media?
You know what? Right, I used to.
Not anymore.
But I still do. I think everyone does. But I'm trying to stop it. Like I put my phone in a drawer sometimes, or I put my phone on Do Not Disturb quite a lot. Like it's been on Do Not Disturb today.
Yeah.
Because the amount of phone calls that I get, they're not like, you know, some are important, some aren't. But that's a massive distraction.
Messes up your flow, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I'm like, no. I'm either leave my phone, if I'm in the house, leave it in another room. It's always on silent anyway. Put it on Do Not Disturb, and I'll just put my AirPods in and listen to some like concentration music, or just zone out.
Yeah.
I can't put like actual music on because I start singing.
No, that's not a bad thing.
No, well, I don't know, you know me sing.
Do you want to sing anything, Peru?
No, not today.
Okay. What I really want to know is that, see students or apprentices that are coming up in the accountancy world, they want to eventually be an accountant, they don't know what niche they want to hit. What's the situation with jobs like up there? Is the demand high, or is it saturated, or what's the situation?
The problem at the moment is, it's a problem or an opportunity, depends how you look at it.
Right.
AI, technology, all this. So a lot of accountants are a bit worried at the moment because they feel like the traditional role of an accountant would be they would prepare your books and that's it. So they wouldn't be giving any proper tax advice, like any advisory services. They wouldn't be giving any business advice. They wouldn't be telling you how to do your marketing or anything like that. They'd literally just take the paperwork off you physically, in most cases, tick some boxes, fill out some forms, and then give it you back and tell you what tax you need to pay.
Yeah.
You can't really do that anymore because that's what like the computers are taking over. So the likes of Xero, putting your books together, AI, all this technology, eventually that will replace that role of an accountant.
Right.
So the new accountants coming up in the game, they need to be trained differently.
Be more creative, right?
They need to be more creative and they need to be more consultant-led. So like the stuff that I did in industry, like I was never posting journals, never doing like some of the manual, like labour elements of an accountant's role. My role was like advisory and strategic, and that's what we need to get into the younger generation today. That's where their heads need to be at. So they need to understand the numbers, they need to understand how they're put together, but who's actually going to do that processing element is probably not going to be a person, to be honest.
It's interesting you say that. And you know, as you're saying that, I'm just thinking of a business model. I'm thinking like literally in your firm, you could create a marketing department and a consultancy department, this department, like 4 or 5 departments in one.
Yeah.
Because they are different services essentially.
Yeah.
And be like, look, I can represent you, but like I've got here another service which is I can give you advice on this, but it's extra this much, is this much. It's an opportunity as well, like you said, it's how you look at it, right?
Yeah, and you know, for me, the whole part of the growth strategy is building out this ecosystem. So I don't just want to own an accountancy practice and grow that and then sell it or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to do all this other stuff. So, you know, what about a brokerage? What about everything else that leads into an accountancy practice or more specific property services? Because obviously being in that game and dealing with clients, I mean, the amount of bad experiences they've had, I just think I could do a better job myself.
Yeah.
So there is opportunity. For me, I think it's a good thing with AI because I like things like that. It will make my job more efficient. Who actually wants to be doing the processing bit anyway? Like, it's boring. So would you not rather be, or at least feel like you're helping somebody? Like you can solve that problem. At the moment, it's going to be hard for AI to solve a tax problem. It might be able to point you to the legislation and stuff, but you've still got to make your own mind up and your own judgment.
Yeah.
What you think the answer is, or you know, whatever. So people should use it to their advantage, but just obviously be mindful of how you're using it as well.
Yeah. So are you currently using that in your business?
Yeah, I use AI mainly for marketing and things like that, and putting newsletters out there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it could be used more in accountancy.
So where are you putting newsletters out?
To current clients.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like email marketing.
Yeah, makes
things
sense.
Like that.
Yeah. See, when it's time to file the paperwork in and the clients need to send you everything in, and is it all everything on computer now? Is everything like you just have to put everything on the computer, or do you have like direct communication with someone in HMRC? Like you speak to someone, like what's that end like, the back end?
Back end, you only speak to HMRC if they've done something wrong.
Okay.
The workflow, ideally, is 100% online. So all the people that work with me,
they
have to do it online. Otherwise, they need to find another accountant. Simple as.
Right,
So
what's the other way?
They're literally sending in the paperwork to somebody.
Right.
Like physically, in the post.
So that's still going on, right?
Yeah.
Do you think more than 50%?
Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So literally somewhere in the HMRC department, they're receiving mail every single day. They're opening it up and then processing that paperwork, right?
Oh yeah, HMRC still want everything by post because that goes in their favour, so they take long to respond. But for submitting accounts and things like that, it will all be online, like 90% of it.
Yeah.
It's going to be more like if you've got an amendment to make, or if you need to speak to HMRC and get something done, you still have to write to them most of the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's just long, and there's post issues and everything, and don't talk to me about stamp duty reclaims. That's sort of subject.
So what's the situation like with, just from your end, from your perspective, the HMRC, like are they fully equipped in terms of their staff and everything, or are they like above and beyond? Are they drowning as well in terms of staff and like they don't know what's going on, and there'll be so many changes that they've got a huge log back. Like, where are they up to?
My opinion on HMRC.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to be careful what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, this won't get you in trouble, will it?
No. Some parts are great. Some parts are really shit.
Like what?
And, you know, just if I'm sending off a clearance letter when I'm doing a group restructure or whatever, I'll get that back within 2 weeks. Happy days.
Right.
But you could have an ongoing issue. You know, it could be something like someone's overdrawn director's loan account. In one case, it took months and months and months to get sorted out. Every time I ring up, they go, oh, so-and-so didn't write that down on the notes, or, you know, it's just really like bad communication and, yeah, just archaic in some ways. Like, they are trying to transform it, and I know that they've got issues there with like staff and this, that and the other, and I think recently they've had to like shut off the postal thing. I can't remember what it was. There's always something going on, but for as long as I can remember, since I started in accountancy, which was like, 16 years ago, everyone who's an accountant does. It's very rare that they like HMRC. Right. Because it's frustrating.
It's interesting you say that, because just look at me as a client, from a client's perspective. I think there's a myth, or there's something where the accountants are almost like there to get you. Do you know what I mean? There's a got you type thing where maybe it's because of the ones that don't give proper advice or something, or it's where we don't know how to ask the right questions, because it's like we want you as an accountant to tell us kind of almost like, where can we save tax? And I feel like most of them probably don't.
This actually annoys me, because accountants should not think like accountants. Like, they should think, oh, if I was the business owner or I was the client, what would I want?
Yeah.
Like, I always ask people, okay, yeah, whatever you're doing this in property, yeah, but what's your end goal? Like, what you're trying to do? I need to know where you're trying to get to so I can help you. Because if your aim is to pass everything on to charity rather than your kids, then it's a different conversation compared to, you know, the other alternative.
Yeah.
So they need to start asking questions. The accountants do. They need to be inquisitive. They need to take an interest. They need to sit and listen. You need to do 80% listening, 20% talking, not the other way around.
But do you think there's a responsibility where the client needs to do the same then, and be like, listen, like for example, if I was a client, I'll come to you, Amy, listen, I don't want to pay tax as much as I have to. Tell me, take it to the borderline to be creative and be like, where can I save it? Where can I defer it? Just like you do with a 25-year mortgage on interest rate, and then just do it again for another 25 years and just kind of make the most of, like something like that. Do you think a conversation like that would be helpful as well?
Yeah, I think obviously the client has to be on the same page. So you can't just, it's a relationship with that person.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're probably going to have to kiss a few frogs before you find the right accountant for you. But for someone to work with me, for example, they need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. They need to be a go-getter. They need to want something. They need to have thought about some level of goals, even if it's, I want 2 properties or I want 10 properties. If they don't know the values and all this fancy stuff, that's fine. But at least they've thought about it, or they're keen to learn. If someone's just blasé and just inherited something and is not really bothered, then probably not the client for me. So I think they need to align on the mindset as well, which is obviously a bit more challenging, but you can figure that out when you talk to somebody.
Yeah, but you as an accountant, like on paper, and you obviously hold a license to be an accountant, right? At what point does it get where the client's being a bit too demanding in terms of, oh, I want this, and be like, you have to now report him? Does that happen?
Demanding in what sense?
Like saying, look, I don't want to pay tax. I want to, I don't want to pay tax. I want to, avoid paying the tax and just help me save the money where I can.
Yeah.
Even if that means that we have to create an expense. Hey YouTube, I'm really sorry to cut you off, but I have to share this with you. I want you to get to your next level, and I believe that personal development is the gateway to success. So what I've done is I've gone and created a 7-day free audio course. This is totally free. All you have to do is sign up, and from day 1 till day 7, every single day you will receive a 2-minute audio from me, which will elevate your mindset and give you power in your business. Make sure you go and sign up and let me know how you find it.
Yeah, so I would always tell them, these are your options.
Yeah.
So option 1, you could do this. This is the consequence. Option 2 and option 3, the risk factor might increase, but, might vary.
Also, do you do that, right?
Yeah, I do that. So I'll say, this is all the stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
This one, you probably go to jail. This one, you definitely won't. And this one probably won't save you much tax. Up to you which one you want to do.
I like that, yeah.
So the caveat on the bottom of the email. But some people just ignore you anyway. Like, I've literally had it before, and I've done a tax report for somebody. They've paid £5 for this report, and I've literally told them, you need to do this, and this. And then, like a year later, because they've gone off, done their own thing. A year later, oh yeah, I just set the company up myself. Okay, so you didn't do this, and this that I said in the report. Because you need the lawyers involved, you need to do it properly, otherwise it means nothing. No. So, it's mad. People sometimes just maybe want the reassurance, or, oh, I've got that there, so I can go back to it in 5 years' time, but it might not be relevant. So, yes, I can say this is how you can save tax. And yes, I can say how risky something is, in my opinion. It's up to the client to obviously do what they want to do.
Yeah. Interesting. How many properties would you advise someone to have in a limited company, for example?
Before they use a company, or?
No, so let's just say they're
having one.
Yeah, so let's say they want to build up a buy-to-let portfolio, and they are going to finance.
Yeah.
What would you say to put in a company?
It's really subjective.
Right.
Which classic accountant answer, but you've got some people that say, or some advisors that say, you could have one property per SPV if you were going to sell that SPV. So an SPV is a special purpose vehicle, because there's tax advantages to selling a business rather than just the individual property within the business, but that's a story for another day. Or you could hold all of your portfolio in there. But what a lot of people will do is they'll separate out the assets to where the rent comes in, or there's lots of different models, but again, it depends on the end goal of the client, what they're trying to do.
So you're almost like a planner, aren't you? Like,
yeah, definitely.
You need to sit down and say, come on, let's plan your next 10 years out, 15, 20 years out.
Yeah.
And then let's work backwards to figure out exactly, I think that's where people are going wrong then. Because they're looking at it more like a year or this year type short-term thing.
Yeah.
And that's where everything's getting mixed up.
I always say, start with the end in mind. So, what does your business look like when it's finished? What does your property portfolio look like when it's finished? And then we'll go back from there. Because you might not have an inheritance tax problem now, but if you're doing all this, if you do all this stuff that you tell me you're going to do, you're definitely going to have one. So let's just sort it out now. That might be wise. Do the cost-benefit analysis, and then it's up to them if they want to take it forward.
It's really good advice, that. Interesting. So you said you've got a partner. Is he a business owner? You're on the go, right? You've got a lot going on. What sort of partner do you need to match that? Is he on the go as well, or is he like the total opposite?
No, so he's not a business owner.
Right.
He used to be on the tools, so he's very mechanically minded. He was an engineer. Now he's a remote engineer. So it's good because he's done the whole refurb on our house. Saved us a lot of money. And that will play a big part in our future as well, with the stuff that we want to do with property. But he helps a lot. He's going to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning or whatever, and then he's doing the school run. He's doing the school run today. Without his support, it would be really, really difficult. And with my first daughter, I was on my own. My ex-husband wasn't about. So now to have somebody there, it's amazing.
Okay, and does he understand what you're doing, the way you're on the go all the time? Do he understand the vision? What is the key there, though? Because I know so many relationships where one person's in business and one person isn't. and eventually that relationship does kind of, the cracks start appearing. So is yours just by fluke good, or is it a conversation that you've both have had and be like, look, this is my life, this is just the way it is, I get 50 calls a day. Well, yours is the opposite. You have to understand certain things here, and how have you created boundaries and stuff like that?
Well, it hasn't been easy.
Right.
At all. Like, I wouldn't say it's not been plain sailing, and it's definitely been a work in progress. I think the cracks did start to show, and there was a point where we were like going to split and not be together. But we've managed to work through that now. And he said to me, he wants to get more involved like on the business side, and he takes that inspiration from me, and eventually we'll build out this empire together. So I think we've got positive influences on each other. Like, he's a bit more relaxed about things than me. So sometimes I'm like, I've got an idea in my head and I've got to do it now. But sometimes, like, I don't need to do it right now. And sometimes he'll remind me of that, and I just need to chill out a bit. So over the years, it's helped me to kind of be less distracted and shut things off and make sure I have family time. Because when I first started my business, I was on the laptop 1 week after a C-section, like a mad woman. I wouldn't do that now. But I was just like, oh, I've got to do this, got to do it, got to do it. And now I'm like, it's fine, like, I can schedule this stuff in, and then I'll be more focused as a result, rather than being a million miles an hour, my head's going everywhere, and then you end up arguing, or, stuff doesn't get done around the house, and sharing stuff out like that. So I think every relationship is work, and I think people are stupid if they think that it's not, because it is. Like, there's going to be, nothing's perfect. So for me, yeah, times have been tough, times are a lot better now. I think you make that conscious choice to just get on with it and try and fix it, like use counselling or do whatever you need to do. Because half the time it's communication. They're not talking to each other, So that was our problem, just the communication element. Me assuming that I'm working, it's all fine because I'm working, when he's sitting there thinking, well, you haven't spent any time with me. What am I doing here? So.
Again, that's the reality, right? You mentioned counselling a little bit, right? And I want to touch into that because I've been counselling, and for me, it didn't help at all, because I'm like, just give me some solutions. What's it been like for you? Or is that the whole purpose of counselling?
I like it.
Do you?
Yeah, but I like talking. So for me, it's you're laughing. For me, it's like I like that element, because I'm like, oh, I can just get it off my chest, like, Whereas before, it probably my mates I was ringing, they didn't appreciate it. No, I found it useful, and I will go back to it, and it's not something I'm ashamed to say. Like, I've used it on and off for years, and I think more people should, if they feel that it helps them. The other thing that helped me through crap times in my life is going to the gym as well, like working out. When I was at home on my own with Minnie, she was a baby, I just worked out at home, like, no excuses. And then I had the second child in a relationship, and I've got the freedom to go to the gym, but I never found the motivation. It's only now I've started doing it again, because I remember, actually, when I was really low, that helped me. So I will go back to that. Like, I'm a great believer in, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Yeah.
Well, I have got a therapist now, but she's not just a counsellor, she's a bit more than that as well, so that helps. Yeah,
the one that I had, she was a psychotherapist as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so God knows, she worked her magic and it was fine.
Do you work 7 days a week, or do you work, what's your current method? Like, what do you do? Or is it when you feel like it?
I definitely don't work 7.
Right.
I used to.
So do you have like a day, like, this is my day off, or?
Yeah, so this is how my week looks like. So on a Monday and a Friday, I try and have no meetings, because on a Monday, I want to just get my head down, get some stuff, basically stuff that's coming over the weekend or whatever. Because a lot of my clients have still got day jobs, and then they find time on the weekend to send their accounts in or whatever. So I'm processing that kind of stuff on a Monday and try and do some content. Tuesday through to Thursday, so either sales calls or client meetings and like anything like this. On a Friday, I will try and have the Friday afternoon to myself. And then I don't really work on the weekends. Sometimes I might get up on a Saturday and do some stuff if it's on my mind.
Yeah.
But, I don't work on weekends anymore. I used to.
Well, you got kids as well, haven't you? So
I have to spend time with them, like they're my family.
Yeah.
And I think before I was like, I need to build this business up, I need to make this, just so hell-bent on it. But then other things started going wrong, like the relationship, like, feeling like a guilty mum. Oh, I've not spent any time with the kids. That just needed to stop. So I think you can't be great at everything. So there's limits on things.
So how do you wind down then? What do you do now? Is it just gym, just spending time at home, just relax? Is that your wind down, or do you do something else as well?
Yeah, do you know what, right? I used to think, I can't watch Netflix because it's not productive. But now I'm like in a point trying not to look at my phone on the night, just to wind down. I will like try and watch something and listen to it. Whereas before I'd just be on my phone all the time. So just try and chill out, either like walking or like still reading on the evening, but it might be like a different type of book, for example.
Yeah.
And just spending time with my partner. I mean, to be honest with you, by the time the kids have gone to bed, I don't really have that long anyway. So it's like an hour. If I'm getting up at 5 and I need 7 hours,
So you need your sleep, right?
Yeah, that's one thing. If I have no sleep, don't even talk to me. Don't even talk to me. 6 hours, no. 7, yeah. 9, too long.
Yeah.
I need sleep. I like sleep.
So are you like generally a calm person, or are you like an angry person? Like what do you get angry fast, or do you like, where are you now?
Do I get angry? Sometimes, yeah.
What do you do?
Swear. I don't know. I'm a lot calmer now. Like,
So what pisses you off then? Like, what really gets to you?
Do you know what? I probably shouldn't say it, but it's true. Like, dickheads on social media, they get on my nerves. Like, honestly, I posted this video and it was on, like, this is my morning routine. Like, I didn't even think anything of it. And then it's done, like, 200,000 views. And you just get these idiots commenting on it. I just think, that really shouldn't annoy me, but it's really annoyed me and, like, feel like it's ruining my day. What else gets me angry? Don't know. Angry is a strong word, isn't it? I think, like, a lot of things annoy me.
Yeah.
Clients not sending paperwork in, so if you are listening, please send it in.
Yeah.
On time.
I think this is a really good point you mentioned here. And I think that the reason they don't send it is because they're just not clued up. Or they just not got the correct education. Because I remember, like, with mine, I had to sit down and I realised that, look, if I send it in late, you're making the job hard for your accountant, really. Because remember, like, you're putting them under pressure now. You're giving them a timeline, a very short timeline to do something. You just send it, like, a few months before, right? So that's just, like, if someone actually thinks about it, that's just common sense. But the reason I think they don't is because they just don't know. Because when I became aware of it, I thought, oh, why do I do that for? And then I thought, well, it doesn't make sense.
So the way my workflow works, and this just comes from me working in corporate for so long, you have month ends in corporate. So the end of the month, everyone's doing the accounting and it's done. It has to be done because the board meetings are going on.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, there's none of this faffing about. Like, you've got to get the shit done. So in my head, I was like, this is what clients need to do, because then they've got more time to save for the tax bill, or, they're not going to be stressing about it. But it's really hard. Like, some people will just ignore you. Like, I've tried making videos. It's like, I don't know, the year end is December. Literally on the 1st of January, they would get an email to say, you need to send X, Y, and Z, ideally in this time frame. This is a video to show you how to do it. Basically trying to spoon feed them, to show them it's easy, it's not hard. But a lot of it's habits. Because if they had the habit in the year of putting it into folders or doing this, or, whatever it is, taking the pictures on the phone, on the app, that
it's so easy now. Anyway, you can just put it.
Yeah, I'll give them that as part of the package to make it easy. Like, literally, all you've got to do is take a photo on your phone. If you've got the invoice on the email, use the email.
It'll automatically, yeah.
that's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Some people do it, some people don't. It's just
Yeah,
the way it is.
yeah.
But I think what needs to happen from my perspective is people need to be made more aware of, like, if you don't do it, this is what happens. Because I think there needs to be a bit more emphasis on that, because nobody wants a £100 fine.
Well, I was just going to say that there's an opportunity here for you to create another department in your business where you charge them.
Clone of me.
Yeah. Okay, last few questions. Do you think that the government charge a lot of tax in the UK on every single thing, or do you think that is reasonable?
Yeah, I do think they charge a lot. And for landlords, it's a joke. And that's why you've got all these creative tax strategies now.
Like what?
Moving properties into a limited company, paying no tax. I mean, you can do it, but it's quite difficult to do in terms of the criteria you've got to meet. But people market it like, oh yeah, it's easy, you don't have to pay any capital gains tax, don't have to pay any stamp duty, just put it in a partnership for 2 years and happy days. No, there's more that goes into it than that, and obviously it costs a lot of money to do it. So, yeah, the UK tax system is one of the most complicated in the world. So it's a lot to get your head around. The taxes are high because of the situation we're in as a country, and that's why I've had a lot of people coming to me saying, well, I'm considering moving to a different country, Dubai or whatever.
That's big now, isn't it?
Yeah, so I can understand it. Obviously everyone's got different circumstances, it's not going to fit everybody's circumstances, but I've definitely seen an increase on that side, definitely. Interesting.
Well, Amy, the property tax queen, is there anything, any final words, any advice you want to give, any words of wisdom you want to give before we get this wrapped up?
Yeah, do you know what? I would just say try and work with an accountant or a tax advisor that's on your level. So if you're entrepreneurial, you want to get ahead, you want to build your property portfolio out, you want things in order, then speak to me. But no.
Yeah.
Just try and get organised with things and have goals and stick to habits, and I think consistency is key. That's the key to success.
Well, I think 100%, and I think the reason why a lot of people don't do it is because they haven't built their personal development up, which means, well, like you said, habits and this and that, and it just lets them down, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So do you have a download or a PDF of things with regards to property where people can, like a free thing where people can just read that and be like, oh, this is where I can save tax or something? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's on my link tree. There's a corporation tax one, how to save corporation tax, because obviously a lot of these landlords now have got property businesses, got limited companies, might be an estate agents or whatever. So there should be a link to that in my link tree, which is on my Instagram.
Send it us, because what we'll do is we'll just put it down below for people to just download.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no issue.
Because it'll help them only because this is a business podcast and well-being, and we discuss everything.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be helpful for the audience. But Amy, listen, thank you so much for coming today. It's been great speaking with you.
Thank you very much.